What technologies are enabling financial institutions to gain insight from this data?
So basically, we see more and more new trends in the market that are just adding more requirements for storing more data. First of all, the regulators will ask banks to keep a record of not only the payments they have processed, that has existed since decades, but more and more records of the compliance hits, the screening hits, and so legal archiving, not only of the flows, but the activity, what the systems do on those payment flows and the decisions they are taking. So for instance, the screening system is stopping a transaction and someone has to stop the transaction or release the transaction based on a compliance decision. But all of this activity needs to be recorded. And that's where also Intix is basically enabling this system of record, because that data is a kind of log file, basically, if you want, and has to be indeed stored and has to be accessible for further later investigations. So the amount of data is skyrocketing when you start really logging everything you're doing or the systems are doing. And also there are other types of market trends on the ESG side, for instance. More and more you need to have ESG metrics around parties, around transactions, and it's nascent, but it's already it hasn't impacted all the bank systems yet. That's why I say it's nascent, but at the same time, it's a priority for the world, climate change, and it's a priority for the regulators because they are creating many new obligations on banks to indeed handle ESG data, whether this is related to an ESG scoring at a company level or an ESG scoring at a transaction level. All of this data has to be stored, kept, archived, and be part of the decision making within the banks. So basically, that's where Intix makes a difference, because whether it's an ESG dataset, an AML dataset, or other types like a master data set, with our new X-Comply service we just launched at Cybos, we are able basically to correlate all those datasets and help the ones who need it, mainly compliance officers, but also other functions, business functions, client support functions, to basically navigate through all the data in a very attractive way. If you look at the screens, it's really about browsing the data. That's what we enable. We have done that in a very generic way, so we can add additional data sets as needs evolve without changing our platform. Basically, that's another key aspect of the technology being adaptable, configurable, to address additional needs as the regulators invent it or as the market evolves.